Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in this episode we'll talk about list and dictionary comprehension. So let's start. Let's talk about list comprehension first. So let's say we have list 1 and we'll call it L1 and it is 1, 2, 3. Now let's say we want to do something to 1, 2, 3. We want this list to become 2, 4, 6. Okay, so that's pretty easy. We just go and we say for I in L1, and then we'll have another list called list 2, I guess, and here we'll multiply every element by 2. For I in L1, L2 dot append I times 2. So there, that works. Okay, now let's see something. What if I just have nothing here and I want to create a list that's 2, 4, 6, 8? Well, I could go and range 1, 2, 3, then make another list L2, and that would be equal to something, and then I'll say for I in range 1, 2, 3, L2 dot append I times 2. But now, what if I wanted to do something a little different? Let's say I wanted to do all this in one line of code, and this is where list comprehension comes in. Okay, so what is this? And does it really work? Well, let me just read it out loud to you and then I'll show you the program and let's see if it will work or not. So I times 2, so L2 is equal to a list I times 2 for I in range 1 to 3. Now, how can you put this? How can you put a line of code? And it's not even a really true line of code. This is the only part that makes sense in it. Why would you put an I times 2 right next to this part into a list? How can you put code in a list? Well, let's see what Python says about it. So think what's going to happen, and now let me run the program. 2, 4. And that's our result. And that result basically makes a lot of sense. For I in range 1 to 3, we get 2 to 4. And that wouldn't make sense if it was not like this. Okay, you don't get what I mean. I'm saying that how could a line of code be in a list? Well, now let me answer that question for all of you guys. You could think of it as saying something else. You could think this for I in range 1 to 3 as every I in range 1 to 3, right? That still would work. And then remember, this 1 to 3 is a list. So for every I in 1 to 2, and then we'll say, and then we'll take this, and in front of it, what Python's reading right now, output 1 by 2. So this is what the computer is thinking. So every I for every I in 1 to 2, that's the list, output I times 2. Now let's go back to the other thing where we had list 1 as 1, 2, 3. Well, we can multiply 2. I mean, you could also make this list. So for every for every I in this list 1, I times 2. And you don't even need a colon. This is like, Python makes this ability, so you don't even need a colon when you write it in the list. And now you can print L2, and we will get 2, 4, 6. Now Now, let's say that we can use list comprehension, which this is called, because you can kind of like do it in one line of code. That's why it's called list comprehension. But actually, other data sets, like multivariable data sets, like dictionaries, sets, they also have their own comprehension. Like, I'm going to show you dictionary comprehension next. So, in dictionary comprehension, we can do lots of things. But first, we need a key and a value. Because if you look at a dictionary, you would have key, value. Then another key value. Key, value. But let's think about this in a little different way. Let's think of it as key 1, value 1. Key 2, value 2. So what do I mean? I mean we have a list that stores all keys, and we have a list that stores all values. So we'll first do key 1, value 1. Key 2, value 2. So we're basically for looping through both of these and then combining them together. But how do we do this? Well, there's actually a Python function for this called zip. And zip basically zips together your keys and values. Like, think of it's your jacket. You have like one side as keys and another side as values, and then you take your zipper up, and the zipper is that function, and it combines them together. So this zipper will help us to combine it into a function. So what we do is that we first get our keys. Key equals 1, 2, 3, and value equals 4, 5, 6. So usually you won't even need to combine these two together, because you can make your own. But sometimes you might want to do this if you have some lists that are question marks. And what I mean by question marks, you don't know what they are, and you want to put them together to make a dictionary. You can't just say, oh, well, I don't know what they are, so what should I do? And you can't run a for loop to make a dictionary, because you don't know how many elements are in there. Like, if you say, oh wait, I could just do this, you could just go from K1, V1, but you'll never know how many of these you have to do. So that's why dictionary comprehension is important. So let's do, say, dictionary equals, we use dictionary set, and we will say this. Okay, what does this mean? So this is like a key value pair sort of thing. So K, V, and then colon. You know how in a dictionary it's like KV, then LV. So they're saying in this dictionary, put in K dash V. So and then we can think of the same list syntax, except we'll have this a little different. KV in so for KV in zip key, and the next parameter is value. So it always starts with keys, because you don't want like to be like I have my value first. You want your key to be first. So KV, and what this reads out is for every K, commas, you can think of and. So for every K and V in zip, and zip is basically like a tuple, and what this tuple has in it, so the first time you iterate, the tuple will have 1, 4. And then what we'll do is that it will take every K and V in here. So K is equal to 1 and V is equal to 4. And then it will make a dictionary with K and V, or 1 and 4. And I'll prove this to you after I print this out. So now that you get what this means, and I hope you get it, let's see if it works. So quick review, key 1, 2, 3, value 4, 5, 6. Dictionary, you put dictionary, you put the dictionary syntax, and then use the same comprehension syntax as the list. 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. So wow, it actually worked. And this is like really a really cool thing, that it actually works. You can actually make this possible. Now let me prove to you that zip thingy. So zip basically, if we say for I in zip key value print I, and you'll see it will print us a bunch of tuples. So it's iterating through these tuples. It's iterating to 1, 4, and it's saying for k and v in 1, 4, and then it's taking these k and v's and putting them in the dictionary by k colon v. Alright, what if we want to make our own zip function? Well, if you imagine the zip, it's like a list that you're iterating through, and that list has tuples in it. And how can we make a list with tuples 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6? You thinking what I'm thinking? Dictionary comprehension. So let's make our own function called maybe put. Okay, not really good function name. Let me just say zipper instead of zip. So for our function zipper, which will have some 2 values, I'll call them x and y. This is what we'll do. We'll return this dictionary with okay, so what we'll do is that we'll return a dictionary with KV for, so we'll say KV, yes, for Z in key value. Okay, that doesn't make sense at all. Well, how is this going to work? Well, let's try something instead. Let's say for I in range len x, and notice that we can say len y too, they have to be the same lengths. We will produce x I y I. So will this work or will this not work? Let's figure out. It works! Yay! So now we can say instead of zip, zipper. And will this work? Final moment of truth. Okay, think about it. Do you think it'll work for doing something? Do you think it'll work? So some people could say, well, we're acting on a list, but we have a dictionary. So that even makes it more confusing. Will it work or will it not work? Well, I'm guessing it will work. So this is how you can use this comprehension, dictionary comprehension, and the syntax for this comprehension, dictionary comprehension, and how you can make your own zipper function. So that's it for today. So bye.